We have just under 400 staff right now. I went to school with Marc Jacobs. Andy Warhol would come and hang out outside my school.
Wait, can we just stop for a second?
The numbers going down, metrics going down, that is just not acceptable. I never feel like I do enough. Even when I was a wayward teenager, I knew one day I would be successful.
People can make decisions and they can own their job. They want to know they did something and created something.
You can read and you can say, this is amazing. But if you don't apply it to your life, you're not going to have an amazing life. You're just going to have read about something that could be amazing.
All right. Welcome to another episode of the Don't Do Nothing podcast. Today, we have an incredible guest, Miss Joy Gendusa. So Joy is the founder of a huge company called PostcardMania. She started it in 1998 when she didn't have two nickels to rub together. It now does over $100 million a year in revenue. She's also on the board of an amazing, I don't even know what it's called.
It's a school now, but it's a tutor. It started as a tutoring center, and it's also a school now. It's called the Community Learning Center.
And Joy has been on the board for 15 plus years.
Yeah.
She also is the founder of Direct Mail 2.0. She's a wonderful wife and a mother of two boys. Joy, thank you for being here today with us.
I'm excited to be here with you. You guys are incredible. Really incredible.
Thank you. Well, we get to see a lot of you like out and about.
I know. I'll tell you one thing that I know. Like when I came here, I know you guys hire a lot of people.
Yes.
That is
literally the first thing
honestly,
I was
think do you know how many jobs you provided like in this area? Like inception, like since 1998.
You mean all of them?
I have
no idea.
It's a lot though.
I
It's
have
a lot.
No idea. We have probably just under 400 staff right now.
That's amazing.
That's all U.S. people?
Yeah, we don't have any remote people. We have a very small amount of remote people. That's local people in the Clearwater community.
Thank you for hiring and giving people opportunities.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
I mean, it's unbelievable. That's actually that's how your name comes up most. Like, okay,
that's right.
just people working there. So that's how I know mostly of you. It's just people like, wow, that's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people. I'll tell you something. I'm very fortunate because my executive team, all of them have been with me a very long time. And that's probably my personal little superpower is that I can get people to want to work for me. Very smart, very capable people for a long time. And that makes my job so easy.
Yeah, and one thing I've noticed is your company, you guys put a lot of attention on the staff and on the, I don't even know what's called, the culture.
The work culture.
Yeah. So you don't know this, but back in 2022, when my wife and I were trying to like get our construction company to grow, what you'd basically call like in other companies, like basically like your head of HR actually gave us a tour of PostcardMania. Angie. Yeah, she's amazing. And she helped my wife a ton as we were growing our company. Like just kind of like a side, like she'd run into a situation, she'd ask Angie, Angie would help her. So you and the way that you built the culture of PostcardMania has actually helped my company a ton.
Well, that makes me really happy.
Like that's kind of has been like our stable datum coming up.
Well,
so
I
thank
love
you.
that. You're welcome. And that really makes me happy. So thanks for telling me that.
Yeah.
Can I say that we're in the same boat? I don't know. Do you like, is that part of like her job, like helping other companies? Or what? Like,
No, it's not part of her job, but I have the viewpoint that if you wanted to come and duplicate my exact business, I'll show you everything because
Good luck.
are 30, right? There are like, 35 million small businesses in the U.S. I have 127,000 of them as customers, but there's so much business out there for everybody. And I feel like small businesses are my passion. That's who my customer base is. That's what I am. I'm a small business person. Until I hit 500 staff, I am still in small business. And I intend to stay that way. And I don't know, I love them. I love people who hustle and do whatever it takes and pull themselves up by the bootstraps. And that's why I'm so admiring of you two as well.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
So I'm just saying, Angie has also helped us. Like
That's nice.
Our HR is called like, hey, what are we,
She's an angel.
discussing situations.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't think we do that to other people. Like, I don't think it's the reverse. You know what I mean? So I just wonder if that was part of like, you're like, hey, we're going to help the community. Is that out of I don't know how that happened.
Yeah.
Is that her own thing that she just
We're
started helping
all
people?
very much like that.
Yeah.
An executive team. Yeah. I mean, we're just like that. I don't know. We're all very helpful people. I mean, if somebody called you and needed your help, you would totally help them.
That's true.
So if
You would.
if we're asked, we help. You know, it's not
Hmm.
in the policies.
Okay.
Amazing. Okay, and so one other thing that I kind of left out of the intro is you are also a Scientologist.
Of course.
And I wanted to know, how did that happen?
Let me tell you my story.
Yes, please.
I did my first course when I was 12 years old.
Mm.
I was the kid who got in trouble in school all the time for passing notes, for not shutting up in class. Thankfully, back then, nobody was labeling children ADD or ADHD and throwing them on drugs. That wasn't happening yet, thank God, when I was a little girl. But what happened was my mother's best friend, her son, quit school and joined staff at the Church of Scientology in New York City.
Wow.
And she was freaked out about it. So she went to the library and she took out all of this, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, garbage on cults, on like all of this data. And she just laid it out on his bed. And when he got home, he said to her, well, Mom, if I've learned nothing from you, I learned that if you want to find out about something, you go to the source. You don't listen to what other people say.
Wow.
Right. Yes. So she said, well, that makes sense. And he said, well, why don't you just do the communication course? And once you do that course, I'll have a conversation with you about Scientology. So she called my mom and she was like, you got to do this course with me. I'm not doing it myself. So that's what happened. And so my mom and Robbie, his name is Robbie, they got together and they went into the city because I lived on Long Island. They went into the city every night and they did a communications course. And when my mom finished that course, she said, I want my daughters to do this course.
Wow.
Mainly because she felt like I needed to learn how to communicate so that I wouldn't keep getting in trouble for being fresh, you know, and all the things that and I was 12 at the time. So I went and I did the communications course, and there is a drill that you do where you are sitting across from a person, and basically what you're doing, they're taking communication and breaking it up into every little part until you have an actual conversation, right? Mm-hmm. So you know that when you're talking to someone, if they're looking in your eyes, you feel like you're engaging with them. So that's a big part of it. But in order to do that, you have to be comfortable.
Yes.
You have to be comfortable. So the very first drill, you have your eyes closed and you're just sitting there drilling, being comfortable. And it takes a bit.
Yes, indeed.
It's not, people are not comfortable, especially now with social media and everybody's looking at a screen. People are not comfortable talking to another person.
That's right.
So this was my first thing I ever did as a 12-year-old. And I didn't go there thinking, oh, yay, I have to go to school more. I was like, oh, I'm in trouble again. And my mom's now going to take me to make me do this. Okay.
Is that what you thought? You're like, oh, great, extra school.
Totally, extra school, extra school. So I did this course with my sister, who's 17 months my senior, and I had my eyes closed. And while I was doing that, I had an experience which is called exteriorization. And that's where you as a being are no longer in your body, you're outside your body. And I know people have had this all the time. It's just something that occurs for people, and maybe they don't know what it's called. And that was an amazing thing for me. So we went on to do the rest of the drills until I felt like, oh, I know how to communicate with someone. And it was great. And that was that. And I had this thing.
Wait, can we just stop for a second?
So good.
I didn't say anything to anyone about it because I didn't know what it was at the time. I didn't know what it was. It was just I could see myself sitting, you know, doing the drill with my sister, and I had this feeling of it was peace. And it wasn't, and I was a very troubled 12-year-old. I grew up I've never seen my parents have an argument. I grew up in a very calm and beautiful environment. I was the tornado, the problem child, the never happy, crying, just not happy. And I felt like this peace, just this peace. And I couldn't tell you anything more than that, because think of it, I was 12. Think of a 12-year-old. Now, I was a kind of a smart 12-year-old. I did read The Born Identity when I was 12. I didn't realize that was a big deal till I had a 12-year-old. But anyway, I digress. So I did that. And then the next thing is my mom said, would you like to do some auditing? And I'm like, what's that? She's like, you talk to somebody and they listen, and it's called life repair. Would you like to do that? And I was like, not really. And she was like, well, why don't you just try it? So I'm doing my life repair, and I have this auditor, the listener, the person sitting across from me. And I guess she could see on the meter something. I don't know what she could see at the time, but she said, is there something you would rather be doing? And I said, yes. All I could think about was Hello Kitty. It was 1976.
Oh my.
And Hello Kitty had just come out. I mean, I know you guys were you were like a sparkle in your parents' eye. Yeah. So Hello Kitty had just come out, and I could think of nothing else. And it was November 1976, and it was almost the holiday season.
Almost Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm Jewish, so it was almost Hanukkah. And me and my little friends would get each other Christmas presents, Hanukkah presents, whatever. And all I could think about was like these little Hello Kitty erasers and pencils and coloring books. Anyway, I digress. And so the auditor said that to me, and I answered. And she said, well, you know what? You should come back here when you want to do Scientology. And that was the end of Scientology for me as a 12-year-old.
Wow.
I said, okay. And I left. Now, during my little tenure at the Church of Scientology, this gentleman named Michael Maurer. Do you know Mike?
I don't know Michael.
You know
Yes.
Michael? Well, he was 24 and I was 12. But you see, I'm a very tall person. I was 5'7" and about 107 pounds. And my mom let me dress however I wanted. So I remember I was wearing little hot pants, because this is 1976, and platform shoes. And Michael thought I was older, I'm sure. So he was talking to me like I was a peer. He wasn't talking to me like I was a 12-year-old. And he was telling me about all of these incredible things that Scientology does for people. And he was talking about the concept of the planet and handling, pain and suffering on the planet. And he's talking to me. I'm 12. And I'm but it stuck with me. You have no idea how that stuck with me. So now, fast forward, I guess I was a junior in high school. So how many years is that? 12 to 16, 17? I mean, I was 17. So it was 5 years. It felt like an eternity, because from 12 to 17.
That is an eternity.
Yeah. Not anymore. Not now no more. 5 years is like, yeah. So I at this point, I had cut out of school more than I went to school. And I was just smoking pot, the good pot, the old pot, not this pot.
The not so strong pot.
The not so strong. The normal pot, yeah. That didn't smell like a skunk. Anyway, but still, I was smoking pot. I went to a really special high school. It's called the High School of Art and Design in New York City. And you have to take a test to get into this school. And I was very artistic, and I got into this school, and it was a blessing. And my parents, paid for me to take the Long Island Railroad every single day to go to this school. And here I am smoking pot and dropping out and not going. So in March of my senior year. Okay. March of my senior year. No, I haven't talked about this in like 400 years. So March of my senior year, I was told, if you want to graduate, you'll have to go to summer school. And I was like, there's no way that's happening. So I decided to quit school and I actually got my parents. I had the most wonderful parents ever. They signed me out of school. My parents, and this is a big part of who I am and why I'm successful, is my parents, because they treated me with so much respect, even though I was an awful, awful person.
Wow.
Like, my mom would tell me, when you walk in the room, the sun comes out. When you can
Oh
do
my God.
anything. You
That's
can
so
do
beautiful.
anything. Like, they were so amazing.
Yeah.
And I was just very fortunate. And I never saw my parents have a fight. They were just, I grew up in this lovely, like, suburban, I didn't know where the roast beef came from. My dad had a business. You know what I mean? My dad had a
Yeah,
business.
yeah.
He left the house at 6 and he
Truly
was
New
home
York,
by
yeah.
6. And yeah. And my mom cooked dinner, and, it was like very kind of picture perfect, except for the tornado that was their daughter.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was a mess. I was like, what am I going to do with my life? I just dropped out. I used to be special. I used to be the artist. Now everybody's an artist. And now I can't. I went to school with Marc Jacobs.
Wow.
Wow.
Andy Warhol would come and hang out outside my school. Yeah, Marc Jacobs was a grade ahead of me. And there were like 5 Jewish kids in the whole school. So we all knew each other. It was like,
wow.
yeah, it was like in the city. Everybody was like Spanish, Asian, Black, and maybe 5 whites and 2 Jews. I mean, it was really very mixed race. And from a girl from Long Island, I was a little nervous. So anyway, it was great though. It was a great exposure to different people, and it was a wonderful experience. However, I botched it. I completely botched it. So I was smoking pot and walking around the city, and I thought, I'm going to go up to the Church of Scientology because I want to maybe they can help me. And so I walked up to, it was not too far. My school was on 53rd and Lexington, 53rd and 3rd. And I walked all the way to 82nd between Park and Madison. If you know New York City, it's not that far.
Yeah.
But it's a bit. So
Yeah.
I walked all the way up there, and I walked in, and I was like, hey, I'm interested in talking to someone about Scientology. So they're so wonderful. The staff were just so wonderful. So they put me in this girl's office. Her name was Linda. And Linda's just talking to me. I don't remember the whole conversation, but she asked me, she could tell I was high. So she's like, do you smoke pot? Because that's really all anybody did back then.
Yeah.
And do you get high? And I said, oh, yes, I'm high right now. And I was like, doesn't everybody who wants to learn more about themselves and, and she was like, she did not make me feel bad about it at all. She said, okay. She said, well, the Scientology and pot don't really mix because you're you're high. So now we want to find the real you over here. And if the pot, it's just, they don't mix. If you want to get high, you can do that. But if you want to do Scientology, you can't do that. So it's one or the other. But she didn't say it like you have to quit forever. She said, you just can't do it while you're doing a course.
Right.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, how long are the courses? And she was like, well, some of them are short. I was like, okay. But I was kind of like, no, I think I want to smoke pot. And I left. And I
Yeah.
I
Like
wasn't-
3 days, like that's a
That's
lot.
a lot.
That's a lot, yeah.
That's a lot. So I left. But then what she did when I left was she called my mom. Because, back then, 5 years is nothing. And people lived in the same houses forever.
Yeah.
So she called my mom, and people picked up their phone.
Right.
For numbers
There were no
they
cell
didn't know
phones.
because there was no caller ID.
There was no caller ID, and the people picked up their phone. So she called my mom, and my mom answered. And she said, hey, Joy walked in, and my mom said, whatever you can get her to do, we will be happy to pay for whatever those services are. And so she said, well, I want her to do the purification rundown. And my mom said, absolutely. Whatever you can do to help my daughter, we're 100% behind that. As I said, I had the most amazing parents. And so I came back, and like a few days later, I mean, it's like they weren't calling me. I didn't have a cell phone. Nobody. I just came back a few days later, and I was like, okay, like, what kind of course do you think I should do? And she did have me do a couple of courses. I did the Ups and Downs in Life course, and I did the course called Personal Values and Integrity.
So
That course is unbelievable.
1,000% changed my life. Those 2 courses. 1,000. I can't even, a million percent, a gazillion percent. I didn't even know what personal integrity was. I didn't even know what the definition of that even was. It was a foreign concept. So that was the beginning of the end. I mean, that was the beginning of the beginning, the beginning of the beginning, I should say. Yeah, that was when my journey started, really for real. So I was almost 18 at that time.
Did you end up doing? You did the pure around then?
I did
or
it. Yeah,
no?
I did it right. I did it right away. I did the 2 little mini courses. I did the purification rundown. My parents got me some more auditing so that I could clean up all the crap I had done to myself over the last 5 years, and then I joined staff, and that was the most amazing experience where I really learned how to be part of a group and how to work and how to take pride in a job well done and feel what it feels like to be part of a group that cares about people and cares about each other. It was the basis of how I even started my company, was that experience of being a staff member.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
Wow.
By the way, I don't know, you haven't, but I did this similar thing. At actually around the same age, I went on staff right around 18, and that was, I mean, again, that's the stuff you learn there is when you can work, like when you can volunteer, because it's a
Right.
volunteer
It's a volunteer job.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
when
yeah.
you can volunteer for long hours
Hmm.
for a purpose that's more than just yourself,
Mhm.
it's very easy to work. I mean, I don't know. That was my experience. So when you say that was like the foundation for your business, like what kind of stuff did you learn
Oh my
there?
goodness. I learned so many basic things. I mean, so L. Ron Hubbard wrote volumes of books on policies of how to run the Church of Scientology. And in the 80s, this voluminous amount of work was kind of exported by various Scientologists to help business people grow their businesses. So I learned a small piece of that voluminous work as a staff member, just in course format. So, how do you ask for something you need, like how do you just all the different things. What are the communication lines? How do you work within this division to this division to this division, and really it was more, I learned really what it feels like to work hard, get a product, how to get a product. When I say get a product, it's like what I have in me now comes from staff, like down stats, the numbers going down, metrics going down, that is just not acceptable. And I learned that as a staff member, like we need to help more people.
Yeah,
We need to get more
not
people,
less.
not less. The work ethic was so, I think I always had a good work ethic, but I didn't have it. It was kind of an innate thing. I liked work, but I didn't have the purpose, and even with my business, like I have a very strong purpose to help small businesses. That is what my company does. And I could never have done what I did without L. Ron Hubbard's management technology. I mean, not possible. I'm a high school dropout. I have no college. And we had no internet back then. The only thing I had were those green volumes, those books. If you look at my volumes right now that are on my shelf in my office, there's a million little tabs and post-it notes. Because anytime I ran into anything at work that I didn't know how to handle, I could find the answer in those books.
Yeah.
And it's really the only thing I have. It's the only thing I know, really. I don't know anything else.
So I in getting like your viewpoint, like it's interesting to get the picture of you like as a young girl in New York City, an artist, really, right? Where like I get that you were on staff and that like instilled like work ethic, but how did you go from like basically an artist to now you run like a massive business and have other businesses that
An
you have
artistic
other
company.
people running? Of course, it's an artistic company, yes, but you're the top. You're an like super high powered executive at this point.
I'm innately an executive. I didn't know that either. I had no idea.
Yeah.
But I am. But now that I've met so many people that have started businesses, I said, oh, no, I was actually kind of good at this. Like I knew what policies to look
The whole
for.
time.
Pretty much. I mean, I want to say, I mean, it sounds kind of crazy because I didn't know I had those skills. There's this dude, do you know Robert Schwartz?
No.
Okay, so Robert Schwartz is a guy who back in the day, he had like 300 kiosks in malls and he sold, I think it was chain, maybe it was chain by the inch. It was like fake gold jewelry only at Christmas time, like
Wow.
October, November, December, and then he would shut down. And then I worked for him and I helped him staff these kiosks. And one day he had to drive me home from work for whatever reason I don't recall. And we were chatting and chatting and chatting in his car before I got out of the car. And he said, "Why don't you have your own business?" And I looked at it, I go, I have no idea how to have a business. Like, why would you even say that to me? I was so like, it was so not real to me that I could ever have a business. And I was already a mom. I already had the boys. And, but now in hindsight, I see, now that I've had so many staff, and I see what he saw in me. And what he saw in me was what I got from staff. He saw me take full ownership of a post. You give me something to do, I'm going to own that post, I'm going to make it go right, and I'm going to do it as a professional, no matter what. Now, I didn't know at this time that not everybody operated that way.
Yes. I feel you. Hold on. I have to say,
Yeah.
I know I'm interrupting a bit, but like, I volunteered at the church for a while. And then I got like my first like job outside the church.
Yeah.
And I was shocked. I was shocked that, and I'm sorry if you're one of these people, but probably if you're listening to this podcast, you're not. Okay.
Yeah, no.
Probably if you're listening to this, you're not this type of person. But I realized that the majority of people do not want to be at their job. Like I'd get a job, I came in, and these guys, at least again, they look kind of miserable. Sometimes falling asleep at their desk, not doing their like it was bad. Like there was one time this guy literally was falling asleep, and his supervisor, right, our boss, came and he's like, "Hey, dude, why are you sleeping?" And he's like, "I wasn't sleeping. What are you talking about?" And then I was shocked, and I came into this thing. I knew I'd never worked at a normal job. I only worked at the church, and I volunteered. But I took that job, and it was funny. Within a month and a half, like 45 days in, I finished this thing that they hadn't done for 3 years. It was like this backlog that they had for 3 years. They'd hired multiple people because I just worked. I got there and I worked. That's what I thought people did. I agree with you. It's like seems people are not like that. It's
There are
the
some
most bizarre. So, of course, some are. Okay,
There's
now
some really
listen.
good people out there.
No, like when we go through, obviously we hire, we have a team, and of course, like we go through people, and we have an amazing team. A lot of them want to work. A lot of them do a fantastic job. Actually, I think all of them, right? Otherwise, we let them
wouldn't be
go.
here.
Exactly. But it also takes a lot of interviews, a lot of talking, and that's my business, right? Obviously, I've been decently successful, right? In the top, whatever, 1%. Okay, the 1%er. I'm like a 1%er. I think all of us here are 1%ers. Okay. But in other businesses, I feel like the guys that don't succeed and don't get to the top 10%, top 5%, top 1%, that is their staff. That might be them, the business owner, right? That is not wanting to get something done. I don't know. What do you guys think? I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, the business owner does want to get it done. They just don't have the tools. They don't, what I've run into with other business owners is they don't have a good organizing board, org chart, where they're not delegating duties properly.
Yep.
So that's a big thing that just people don't know how to do. Everybody, when you're growing your business, everybody's a catch-all. You know, they'll just, I'll do it. And it's chaos. So because of the Hubbard management system, I was able to immediately from day one start keeping statistics of like everything that we did to make a sale. Like I just knew I had to count, like how many phone calls did it take? How many people did I have to talk to? How many, when I was doing everything myself, I just figured it out. And then I would have a hat. I could write it up. This is what you have to do. So I wouldn't know what that was without the Hubbard management system, the administrative technology. So I feel like the business owners are just missing information. Staff, are you familiar with the motivation scale?
Yes.
Okay,
of course.
so the motivation scale.
And we will include it. I'll include the page number.
okay.
It's in the book Scientology 08, the book of
Yes.
basics.
Yes.
But yes.
So the top of the scale is duty.
Yes.
And there's only 4 levels on this scale. And obviously, when you get a job, you're doing it because you need a paycheck, but you also why do you need a paycheck? It's a duty to your family.
That's right.
It's a duty to pay your bills. And if you operate at that motivation,
Yes.
you will do a much better job. Now, the second one down is personal conviction. And personal conviction is also fantastic. If you hire people who have a personal conviction, meaning they're going to do a good job because they better do a good job because
They believe it's right.
they believe it's the
Yes.
right thing to do, and it's very personal. It's they do it because if they don't, then they're going to feel like they're an idiot or something.
Yeah.
So those 2 motivations are what we try to hire
Yeah.
for the most part.
Mm.
So we have some questions that we ask to see if we can determine where they are on that scale. Duty is the highest, then personal conviction, then personal gain. So if you hire someone and all that, you know when you interview people and they're like, well, how many vacation days do I get? And how much PTO and what are you going to do for me? And when am I going to get my first raise? And we don't hire those people.
Right.
We want someone who's interested in actually working. So there's a way to, and obviously we want personal gain. I'm not saying
But
that
that's
you
not the only.
want-
That's not why to have a job. That's called
That's
a
not-
benefit, right?
yeah,
that's like a
that's-
one.
But that's
a
not your
perk.
motivation
Correct.
as a person.
Yeah.
What is your motivation? So people have different motivations. It's not just the job. It's how their motivation in life. Right.
Right.
So why do I have a company? Because I employ all these people and I have a duty to make sure that I am profitable so that these people can get their paycheck. I mean, at this point in time, it's the duty is why I keep
Responsibility.
why I keep doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, I still have a good time and it's fun, but I have married people that work for me that are relying 100% on my company to pay all their bills and buy their nice cars and make their donations to their charities that they love. And I better, that's my motivation.
That's beautiful.
That's amazing.
What's your motivation?
I we're in the same boat. I have to say, like I think when we were smaller and just starting, there was definitely you have to have money. Like you can't
Yeah.
not have a place to live.
Right.
But it's interesting because even getting money, you can do that out of duty. Meaning,
Right.
Yeah.
at one
That's
point,
right.
I need to have money so I can help. Well, Whitney, my wife.
She's amazing and
she
beautiful.
she's
by the way.
incredible and
Yeah.
beautiful and incredible and amazing. So she wanted to have a baby. I did not think I was ready to embark on that journey.
How many kids do you guys have now?
We have 4 now.
Yeah.
Yeah. She made me ready. Okay, in various ways. Okay, so but here's the thing. Here's the thing.
You do. You feel like you need. I had a. duty
I actually thought because we don't have money, we can't have a child. And she was like, no, we were gonna have a child. Yeah, I thought like when you have the money, then you can take the responsibility, right? And the scale is a bit different. You go like, okay, I will have to be a husband and a father and provide for my family, and we will have a baby. Now let me figure out how to do that. Right? It was a bit reversed. So I was stuck on we don't have enough money. I can hardly pay the bills now. With a baby, we will be screwed. Right? That was like my thought process. And she basically gently got me to, take responsibility. And I was also going to the church, and I was doing some stuff, and I realized I had like a moment in the church. I'm like, well, she did get pregnant, but not much changed. She was pregnant, and like I was still going. I'm making $20 an hour. She's making $22 an hour. We have a baby coming. We're living in California. It's a lot of taxes. It's not you can't really it's not like a good,
How many
great
years
situation.
ago was that?
My daughter is 11, so about 12 years ago. Yeah, about 12 years ago.
You're such a crazy success story.
Yeah,
A little
thank
bit
you,
of a
thank you.
change.
Yeah, so
between then and now.
it's been a lot of changes. But I want to say like I had a moment. I was at the church, and we do some interesting things in the church. And I was looking around the room, and I was just like touching things and just getting like in communication with the space and this. And I don't know what I was doing. It was something that I'm supposed to do. I'm following some steps I'm supposed to do. And I just had a moment when I said, I am a father. Whitney is 5 months pregnant. I'm actually already a father. I'm not going to be a father. Like, there's a human being in that belly, whether you believe it or not. And I'm not acting like it. I'm not in the sense of duty. It was kind of happening in front of me, and I was watching it. And in that moment, I kind of woke up, and I'm like, I got to get to work. And that's when I'm like, okay, how do I make some money in this? And within 6 months, my income tripled. I started Amazon about 10 months after that, and it just started going like crazy. But anyway, I just like, it's my duty. This child will be successful or have opportunity because of me and only because of me, and there is nothing that will get in the way. And that's what happened to me.
Yeah, I love that. That's incredible. It's the same story for me. I had 2 little boys, and the school system was terrible, and I needed to put them in private school. And I was just like, it's my duty to take care of them and to make sure they have what they need. And I really had my parents also as such great examples, to follow. And it was like, I can't be like lower. What is the word I want to use? I want to say downstat or less, have lower statistics than my parents. My dad was successful. To be a good example to my parents, even like I had this duty, like I can't ask them for help. I have to do it myself. I have to make them proud of me. I was such a pain in the butt when I was a kid. I was such a pain in the butt. And so I really wanted to, when I found Scientology, I was like, this is my chance to make it up to my parents, to thank them for everything they've done for me and be successful. And I had that duty as well. So duty is a great motivator.
So good.
Totally. Okay, so a second ago you brought up the school system. You have been on the board of the Community Learning Center for over a decade. Clearly that's like that whole situation is something that's really important to you. How did that come about? Like what happened where you're like, I gotta do something about this?
I'll tell you what happened.
Yeah.
It's actually, I haven't thought about this story in a long time of how did I get to the Community Learning Center. So my younger son was kind of going from like school to school and not doing well at all. And I didn't know what to do because I was building my business and I couldn't homeschool him at all. And so I had heard about the Community Learning Center and I went over there to check it out. And the gal who was running it said, well, I want to give you a test. I wanted to get my son tested to see where he was at education-wise, like what grade level was he at. And I knew he was behind. I think he was about 9 or 10 at this point, maybe 11. And he wasn't winning in life, and it broke my heart. So I was like, what am I going to do about this? So I went over there, and the ED, the executive director, said, I'm going to give him a test to see where he's at. And I was like, I'm not putting my son through a test. You have to give me the test first so I can see what he's going to go through. So I took the test, and at the end of the test, she was kind of dumbfounded. She was looking at my test scores, and it was reading comprehension, it was a reading type of test. And she was like, how old, can I ask you how old you are? And I told her, she was like, when were you born? And I said, I was born in 1964. And she was like, okay, did you have teachers that were elderly when you were learning to read? And I said, yes, I did. I had old lady teachers when I was like in kindergarten, first grade, second grade.
Yeah.
And she said, do you know that in 1964, they changed the education system in the United States from phonics to something totally different. I don't know what you call it, but basically they were teaching you to sight read. So you would see the word cat and you would memorize that the word cat was cat, but you didn't learn it as cat anymore.
Oh.
We did phonics. And so I was able to read. It was a test where they would do all these different letter combinations and you had to read them. And I knew my son would fail this test miserably, so I never made him do it. But she was like, well, like, what do you do? And how educated are you? Like, she was asking me all these questions. I was like, I'm a high school dropout. I'm not educated at all. I mean, formally, I'm educated in the, the world of hard knocks and, and reading. I mean, I like to read. So, she thought I was too young to have that type of reading ability. So I got very interested in the community learning center, and it started with my own child, where I realized that, like, I was able to read at a very young age hard books. I read The Born Identity when I was 12 years old, and I didn't know that that was a big deal until I had a 12-year-old that could not read that at all. And I was looking at how their handwriting was and what they were able to read, and I went, we have a problem. We have a problem. We are being dumbed down. And I just found that I felt very passionate about helping to fix this, even if it's in my like tiny little neck of the woods here in Clearwater. My son never went to the community learning center. He did not actually wind up going there.
Oh, wow.
I found a little homeschool for him, and he learned the study technology that L. Ron Hubbard developed, and he became an amazing student, and he is completely self-taught, and he's a successful young man, and he's very interested in learning. He is so impressive to me, and not just because he's my son. Like just the way you guys are impressive to me, he is also impressive to me. Anyway, I can go on and on about my child. But
it switched. You took responsibility.
Yeah.
You went from, hey, we're going to let whatever school teach your kid,
right,
to saying, I'll be responsible for it. And you got guidance from the community learning center? Like curriculum? Is that also part of it? No,
I didn't get any curriculum. I just started to listen to what this executive director was doing, and how she was taking children that have no means to get educated. They don't have parents that can pay for tutoring. I was already doing well enough that I could pay for private school and pay for tutoring for my son, but the community learning center was providing this tutoring to kids who do not have that. Their parents are working 2 jobs each. Their parents don't have the time to read to them. And these kids are getting in trouble. And the only way they're not going to go down a bad path in life is if they can learn. And they have some amazing stories at the community learning center, just of kids that they have taken into adulthood that are, that just give back because it's just an amazing organization. So anyway, I'm very passionate about that. So it's just here. I'm just on the board. I help this community with the people in Clearwater that the kids here. So anyway, it's just what I like.
So that tutoring, is that still part of like
community learning center?
Like meaning the tutoring? Like if someone has issues or someone has problems, and
yes,
they have no means, they cannot pay, they can come in and get tutoring.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Guys, hello. Like community learning center, free tutoring.
Yes.
Learn words, learn sounds, learn stuff. You have to qualify.
You have to qualify. You can't. You can't. You don't qualify.
I don't qualify.
Yeah, your kids are. You have to pay for your kids.
Yeah. Not for. You know who I'm talking. Like.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay.
Yeah. So.
But if you could pay for it, then even better. So then that way you're helping it grow too.
You have to qualify. But they use government assistance and donations from the community. We have a golf tournament. I'll hit you up next time.
Okay.
I fundraise for the golf tournament. Do you play?
I don't.
Good. But you can just pay for a hole.
Yeah, there you go. Brad can play.
Yeah.
No one in this room plays golf.
No one. Yeah, I love that. I don't play golf. Do you play golf? Oh, I will be hitting you up for the community learning center for next year.
I can't wait.
A bunch of us on the board, we compete, and I win every time.
Oh.
Yes, in terms of who brings in the most sponsorship. So I just got 2 new guys I can go after.
Yeah. No, listen, we're gonna put can you do that online too? I'll put a link to the community learning center if you want to help kids get tutored.
Yeah.
I'll put the link down there.
Beautiful.
So either your kid, or if you want to just help somebody, be a good Samaritan today.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sure they have a link. We have a thing at my company where any staff can sign up to take a bit out of their paycheck, even if it's just $2 or $3 a week, so that we can give it to the community learning center.
Nice.
And it's just, I really feel strongly about that.
That's awesome. I'm curious because you've done a lot, but
So
when-
intense.
well, whenever
It's true. I mean,
I
it's
hang with Aaron a
honestly
lot.
true. It's
I hang with Aaron a lot. He's gotten me more intense over time. So,
It's the blue eyes. It's like, you've done a lot. And there's these blue piercing eyes.
well, my question is like, whenever I meet somebody who's done a lot, they're always like, oh, I've only scratched the surface. Is that your viewpoint?
Oh man, you just hurt me. You just put just stab me in the heart. I never feel like I do enough. I never ever feel like I do enough. I'm just one of these people that like, I'm constantly feeling like I'm walking around with like, don't like I have not done enough. Like you're missing all my way home.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I just
Well,
feel
you're in good company, I think.
I just never feel like I do, especially, from having been on staff. I just never feel like I do enough. No matter how much I donate, no matter how much I volunteer, no matter how much I do, there's so many people in need. And I am so fortunate, not just because I found Scientology, because that is the main thing that has steered my life in the right direction, but just having the mental acuity and wherewithal mentally and spiritually to take that road. I mean, the road is there. The road is there. The path is there. People look at the path and go, I don't want to do that path for whatever reason.
Yeah.
There's people, a lot of people drink the haterade. I don't know what that's all about, but there's definitely a road. And I, for whatever reason, thank you, God, for putting me on that road, because I wouldn't be where I am without it.
Yeah. So in terms of the future, what are you trying to get done? What's next for Joy, whether it's business or in the community, what are your plans for the future?
Gosh, I'm such a
give me an
private
insight.
person.
I know. I didn't realize it's a very private question, but I'm like,
I'm a private person. So how should I answer this question? Let's see. Well, I'm going to keep building my business because I love doing it.
Yeah.
I really enjoy doing it. I am passionate about helping people find the path. And I really appreciate that you guys have given me the opportunity to talk about my wins with Scientology, because it really is a way. It's a really workable way to take yourself out of the mud and into a very beautiful life that you can be proud of. And, I hope I can do that. I'm better doing it at one-on-one. So,
I see.
Yeah. I'm not really like a podcast out there kind of person, but I'm happy that you guys are.
you are as of today, you are too. As of today. So when you started the business, right? Did you imagine you would be where you're at right now?
Interesting question. I, as a child, thought to myself, one day I will be rich. Never knew how I was going to get there. Even when I was a wayward teenager, I knew one day I would be successful. I didn't know what that looked like. I didn't know how I was going to get there, but I had this idea that it would occur somehow. But when I started my business, I'm very tactical. I wasn't very strategic. I wasn't thinking to myself, here's our business plan and we're going to be this big and one day we're going to have 400 staff. We're going to make $100 million. No, I was like, I need to get the stats up. That's all I could think about is I need to get the stats up. So I did not see this exact life that I have. And I have such an amazing life. I am so blessed. I have such a beautiful life. I have a beautiful marriage, which I could not have done successfully without Scientology. I have beautiful friendships. I have amazing executives and staff that work for me. I am so lucky. Those people, they know who they are. If they watch this, they know who they are. I love them to pieces. They give me my life. I don't have to work that much anymore, which is, I'm old. I like to, cook. I like to cook. I'm your client.
Oh, good.
I'm your customer. I'm going to get those those Le Creuset Dutch ovens.
Oh yeah, you see,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
The Zulai, yeah, it's like
They're
they're about
gorgeous.
1/5 the price, and they.
I just spent
are
$600 on a really big
I
one.
know. I'll get you one for 1/5 the price. Just check. You guys, anybody on Amazon?
No, I'm
You-
already your customer.
Yeah,
You
okay,
don't
good.
even. You don't.
Okay.
I go to your Amazon store just to see if there's anything else I would like to buy.
Yeah. Nice. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
No, cooking is amazing.
I know. I love to cook, and I have a home in Georgia, and I'm there I'm there half of the time, I would say. I wish I was there all of the time. It's so peaceful. So, I feel like, yes, there's tons of things I want to do, but I'm also really enjoying the fruits of my labor right now. Just enjoying relaxing and spending time with my husband and traveling, because I spent a lot of you guys are so young. You'll see when you're 60 something, you're going to be like, okay, I want to fly somewhere beautiful and, relax.
We try to do that.
Yeah.
Even with all the children, we
That's
just
good.
are like a caravan that has to go, across. We were just in.
Where'd you go?
We went to Turks and Caicos. I went
Oh,
to
nice.
St. Bart's. I mean, it was fun.
Oh,
It was
that's
good.
good.
It was good with all the kids and this. It's a lot of traveling, a lot of craziness.
That's a lot
I
of
can
craziness.
imagine later in the next phase of life, it'll be very different.
Yes.
But it's fun. I mean, it's all the children. I'm happy with all these kids jumping around, running around this, and then.
Yeah, because it's probably Whitney that handles most of the BS with the children.
I think we both play
Yeah.
a good part. I think we both play a good part. Yeah,
I'm gonna
but a
ask
different
her.
time. Yeah, ask her. I can ask. You can ask her. You can ask her. So like, can you give an example? So in your business, right? You said you love the small business guys, right? And you're like, hey, I want to help these guys grow and give them tools. And like, can you give an example of like how you've helped them? Like, what is it your business does exactly? I mean, I have an idea, but like, take a person. You go like, hey, this person, I can help them so much in this, whatever they're running into right now.
Well, it's interesting because we have so many customers at one time. We're servicing thousands of small businesses at one time. So it's PostcardMania is very organized and it's very process driven. But what we can do for the customer is we're mainly a lead generation machine for the customer. We can do campaigns that are getting their customers to rebuy from them, of course, but mainly we are a lead generation machine. So we use direct mail with online ads. We do a campaign that's a multi-channel campaign. I don't like to use a lot of marketing terminology.
Sure.
So to keep
But
it,
it's physical postcard
it's a
plus
physical-
online. They
right.
target them they get both
That's
of
right.
them.
They
Okay.
get both of them, and
Yeah.
it's very coordinated effort, so that basically it's the perception that the business is everywhere. They see it on Facebook, they see it on Instagram, they see it in their Gmail, they see it on YouTube, they see it, they get the mail piece. There's also a call tracking number. We also do it's called, I don't want to say words that people aren't going to understand, but basically, like if somebody goes to a certain area, like we can
The zip codes, get the whole zip code.
I'm talking about digitally. We can target people that are going into a certain location for interest. You know what I'm saying? So, like you could target people that are going into Home Depot that are in a certain income range that are going to try it do it themselves and be like, I don't want to do it myself. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, using the data. So it's a very nice coordinated campaign. And what's really lovely for the small business owner is that they don't have to do anything really except fill out the design survey and give us information about their business. It starts with a marketing consultant. They talk to a marketing consultant. We ask a barrage of questions so that we can help them the best way possible. Nothing's cookie cutter. Everything is a custom campaign, but it's kind of like you go through the organization so that we can do it as inexpensively as possible for them. We are the opposite of like a big ad agency that charges a retainer and charges a lot of money. You'd be surprised at how inexpensive it is to do an incredible campaign, including the postage. So we built our business on volume rather than high prices and like giant customers. I had, before I started PostcardMania, my company was called Joy Rockwell Enterprises. Joy Rockwell is my previous married name. And it was called that. It was actually just called Joy Rockwell, but then I had to have them. I didn't really have a name of a company, but the bank told me to say Enterprises so that if they wrote Joy Rockwell Printing or Joy Rockwell Design, I could deposit any check. And that's how the name came. And I was doing everything. I was selling the campaign. I was designing the campaign. I was brokering the printing. And I had a handful of really large customers. And I felt owned by those large customers.
Owned. Wow.
Owned. I felt like
totally communicates.
Yeah, I had a cell phone when cell phones were this big that I didn't buy. One of my customers bought it for me and said, I need to be able to reach you whenever I need to be able to reach you.
Oh my.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That is kind of aggressive.
That is owned. Yeah.
Well, he was paying me a lot of money.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I, and I had these two little boys that I had to keep in private school. And so at that time I was married to a guitar player / teacher. So, and I didn't want him to do anything he didn't enjoy doing. He really loved playing music, but it didn't pay. So I was really, it was put on me to figure out how am I going to give these boys a life, because I didn't have a man to rely on to do it. And
yeah, now he's gone.
yeah, he's gone. He's actually gone.
Gone. Okay, wow. Well,
gone.
okay. No.
Yeah. So and he was a lovely person, but I've been married for 22 years to my husband, who's also successful. But we met. He was already successful, and I was like, oh wow, a real man, That's how I felt when I met my husband.
Oh,
Listen,
my
I
God.
agree. If the guy's saying I'm gonna go do what I love and you're gonna pay for me, that seems like that.
Yeah.
I am not.
Yeah.
I will not disagree with you here.
Yeah, I was just like, I didn't begrudge my ex-husband that. That's what he wanted to do, and I loved him. But when I met my current husband, I was just like, wow, like I was like dreamy. It was dreamy. I was like, yeah. So anyway, so I just don't want it to. I don't want to. If he watches this, hi Sam. I am married to the most amazing man on planet Earth. I have to say, he is very successful.
He is awesome.
He is awesome.
I don't know if I mean, I maybe briefly.
Maybe you've seen him.
Yeah,
He's
not
cool.
really talked to him.
He's cool.
He has a cool story as well.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
He told you his whole story. He's an amazing guy.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't know how I got on that.
Yeah,
but-
no, that's fine. So how do you have an example of like a company like, hey, you work with them and this happened, like, that kind of
I have
stuff?
a zillion case studies on my website, like a zillion of them across tons of industries. So, I don't know the case studies off the top of my head because I haven't been in the weeds in a very long time, but I do know of some, like we have several that have made the Inc. 500, not the Inc. 5000, but the
Wow.
Inc. 500, which I made. I made the Inc. 500 many years ago. Yeah,
Nice.
thank you.
Let's go.
Yeah. And, where we've taken that. Well, there's this one gal who I love. She sent her marketing director person from Boston to come to my growth summit. I do a growth summit twice a year. Just for my customers. We only service about 70 people at a time because that's all we could fit in the space. And she sent her marketing fella to come do it. And he did it, and he went back and tried to get her to do what he learned in my program, but she was resistive. So what he did do is he got her to come to the Growth Summit. So she came to the Growth Summit. By the end of the Growth Summit, she was like, I'm going to do whatever you tell me to do. I'm just going to do it. And it's a really lovely story because she did do whatever I said, and she literally doubled and doubled and doubled again, and she was able to leave the business herself and let her son take over, and she just got it into such a great condition. And she gives me lots of credit for that, which is lovely. So yes, there are lots of stories like that. You can go to my website.
Amazing, brilliant. No, amazing. That sounds. I love it. Okay, so
I know. I'm a little removed at this point. 27 years into the business, and a team. Anyone can be envious of the team I have. I have the most caring. They take full ownership. They're in duty. They're smart. They've. My chief revenue officer has been with me 22 years. His wife is the president of my company. She's been with me 27 years.
wow.
Yeah, she was
From the
19
beginning.
when she started working for me.
Oh my God.
Wow.
And she's 47 or something now. And she, their children, I was there when they were 30 minutes old. I met their children, and now they're in, one is in high school and one is in college. It's like these people are like the best. So I don't know.
Okay, so I want to know what's your secret sauce for getting people to work with you over such long periods of time? Because that, and I'm going to ramble a little bit before I let you answer the question. I've noticed that with the people who really go boom, like way, way crazy stratospheric success, is always they have people who stick around them for a long time, because that's the only way anybody gets good at anything or can get anywhere near the CEO or founder's level of being able to do a siloed part of the business, is they just have to be there and really duplicate you. But it takes a long time to do that. So what do you attribute that to?
I attribute it to love.
Yeah.
It sounds so.
All you need is love. Okay.
Yeah, I love them so much, and I want them to be very, very successful. And I'm very generous, and I give them a lot of autonomy. So when I give somebody a post, I do not micromanage them at all. Even if I could see that I would do it a different way, or I would prefer it this way, I will generally keep my mouth shut, because I would rather them own the post than feel like they need my approval for everything that they do.
That is something that sorry for interrupting, but that is something that I just recently realized I needed to change in how I was running my company. Is like, no, you have to do it the exact way that I would do it, to the letter. Like, use
It's
my
their
hand.
job. It's their job
I'm
now,
like,
Brad.
use my handwriting.
It's not your job anymore,
Write
Brad.
it like I would write it in my bad handwriting. But it's like, yeah, it's like that kills the responsibility.
Right. It makes a person not want. It's like, I could see it on a level where I have a designer. He's been with me 18 years, and he is the PostcardMania designer. He only works on my stuff.
Oh, wow.
And so my CMO is a genius, and she's gorgeous. I don't know if you know Sarah Kaczynski. Does anybody know her? Stunning, smart, been with me 21 years, can do anything. She has her own business also, but she stays with me too. Anyway, I'll look at a design piece that is my promo, which I hardly ever even look at it anymore, to be honest. Yeah. But I'll look. Once in a while, I'll go through it and I'll look, and I'll go, this piece needs work. There's a problem with it, and I know what happens, because Matt, the designer, is amazing. He's an incredible designer, and he can bang out work. He's incredible, and I know what's happening. Sarah is saying, she's giving him marketing. She wants something else to pop. She's directing him. And what's happening is, at a certain point, he's just taking his hat off and he's just doing what she's telling him to do. And she's not a designer. She's the marketer. Oh. You see what I'm saying?
Totally, yeah.
So I could just see it on that little level, that he just goes, I give up. I have no creativity on this anymore, because somebody is art directing me to the point where I'm a technician and I'm not the artist. And that's in that little microcosm. Like, if I did that with the president of my company, she would have no ownership of anything she's doing, and she would feel bypassed. She would feel constantly like she's not doing it good enough. Now, Sarah's a wonderful boss too, and I would say that's just a small thing that I see here and there. Matt has designed a million things for us that are perfectly amazing, and that she leaves alone for sure. But when I saw it, I told her about it too, because I was like, hey, you gotta let him. You gotta make sure he keeps his hat on, even though you're giving him good points. He needs to be the final aesthetic on it. But anyway, and that's really what I see with my staff, is that even now at this size, we didn't grow very much last year, and I was not into that. But
nobody is, of course.
Yeah.
But I really took almost half the year. I didn't work very much, and I, it's like when I'm having a meeting with these guys, they are spectacular beings. I have to say, the way I communicate is very important, because I never want them to feel like I think less of them because a stat is down. I always want to make sure my communication is in such a way that they feel validated, because they should feel validated. And I feel like that's a very woman thing. I feel like women are...
Yeah, I don't focus on that.
Yeah,
that's not like my focus.
No,
I agree with you. I agree. Keep going. Yeah.
And it is my focus. It's kind of like, and I feel like when I'll give you a little story. I had an assistant for a little while who was a boy. is my only boy assistant. And I love this boy. I love him. I've known him since he was a child. But he could have, as a boy, any communication. Like I could go like, Claudius, I hate the way you did that. Like, why did you do it? I would never talk to a girl that way. Never, ever, ever talk to a girl or any of my execs. He could have it, so I could talk that way to him. He actually needs me to beat him up still. He'll like text me and be like, I need a joy talk. But anyway, it doesn't work for me. But it's like, but a guy can have different communication than a girl. And I've noticed it with my executives. Like I can say pretty much anything to like my chief revenue officer or my CTO. They're men.
Yeah.
And they're just like, yeah, okay, no problem, whatever. But when I talk to my girl executives, I really, and I'm not even saying anything to them in a bad way, because I'm never the person going, we need to get the stats up. Like that's just not me at all.
Yeah.
It's a meeting of the minds. We all have the same purpose, and there's no reason on earth to ever get angry with someone who's working for you or trying too hard and wants to get the product. So I think that's why people stay with me, because I love them and I don't want to create a bad effect on them.
Yeah.
I want to chime in a little bit, because what she said at the very beginning, I experienced it when I was an employee. When I could not make any decisions, I immediately didn't want to be at the job anymore. Like, it's not necessarily micromanaging. It's that I have an actual job, as opposed to like I could be replaced by an AI or this. So I remember when I'm doing this programming job, and I have this idea, and I go, and I'm creating. And like now I can say like my company now is bigger than the company I used to work for. So like I can validate that like my ideas were pretty good. Okay. Back then you don't know. Like you could assume, but here's the deal. But here's the point, right? Like I go, listen, we're doing this and this, but my job is this whole program. I'm building this site, this program, all this stuff. And I go, if we just change like this number, we raise this $5 here, we do this, like we'll be profitable right away. And I was making this unit, this area that I was given to be in charge of. I knew how to make it work. At least I felt that way, right? We can't know because it didn't happen. Yeah. But I went to the guy, my boss, and I told him, and he says, we're just not really focusing on profitability right now. I'm serious. This is a venture capitalist thing, right? Like, and they were using other people's money, whatever. And I go like, but it's like, I can do it. And I'm pumped. And he goes like, we don't want to worry about that. So I wasn't able to make decisions of what I thought would be helpful for my job and my responsibility. And when you take that away, I think people don't want to work there. I didn't want to work. I mean, I was getting paid pretty good from this other people's money thing. So I was there for a bit more. But I think after that point, I think it was 6 months. And then, I had moved off, something like that. And it's like when you come into a place where you're stopping a person's decision and ideas, and I'll tell you one thing, at least from what I've noticed in our company, people, I really, and I maybe not that good, but I try to encourage ideas. What, like, the person has a job and they're responsible for something so they can bring things up. And at least I feel when I was an employee, I like that. I like to be able to make a decision and be like, wow, I created something, not just... I answered the phone and I said hello, whatever. I had the script, or I didn't have a receptionist job, but like I think that's one thing. And I don't know if you kind of alluded to that. Like people can make decisions and they can own their job, and people want to have that. They want to know they did something and created something, and not just we're a robot.
It's definitely harder as you get larger and larger to do that, and you put in hats and policies and and the rules. But at the top, the executive echelon, for sure, it's giving them that autonomy really makes them feel like they own the place. And I want them to feel like they own the place.
That's literally what I was about to ask you is, do you feel, and this is not like a ownership, like equity question. I was just going to ask, do you feel like they own, like your executives feel like they own the business?
Yeah, they feel like it's theirs. They definitely know it's mine. I mean, I'm the sole owner of the company. That's probably something else that you would like to know, is that I've never taken any capital or loans. I was just bootstrapped completely. I'm the sole owner of the company.
That's badass.
But they definitely know that if and when I ever sell that company, they are going to get they don't know how much, but they're going to get a chunk. Yeah. And because they've been with me such a long time, and they do take ownership. Like they you go through some treacherous times in a business, and they will just take full ownership and work whatever hours and back me up, and it's magical. It's different than any kind of relationship that you could have, because it's, when you have a husband or that kind of a relationship, or even with your children, or even with your girlfriends or male friends or any friends, it's a different relationship when you're in the trenches with these people and working to get a product, whatever that product is, whether it's results for our clients or higher stats and higher sales for us, or a new technology that we're rolling out. Like, we're all kind of in it together, and there's no relationship like that.
Yeah.
So you spend most of your life working. I mean, honestly,
Yes.
most of the time
Yes,
it's working,
like
and those are your crew. That's like that is your crew.
They do. They like working, and they like the fruits of their labor as well. I take really good care of them. I really want them to prosper and and be baller shot callers themselves.
Amazing. Now, there's a question we ask everybody on the show.
Yeah.
In your own words, what is Scientology?
Oh, wow. I should have practiced this. Scientology it's a religious philosophy, but it's not something that you study and then think about. It's something that you apply every day in your life. And, when I started my business and I was broke, I needed to apply certain Scientology principles in order to be able to do what I was doing. Very spiritual principles. I mean, I could share with you one of my favorites, but it's like literally you learn something in Scientology and you can take that thing and go out in life and do that thing, whatever it is. And I can give you an example so it's not so esoteric.
Yeah.
And then the minute you apply that to your life and you realize it works, that's Scientology. I hope that's crystal clear.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's share.
Yeah,
right,
it's a
let me
perfect
give you
time.
Example.
Think of this. I mean, both of you have started businesses. So, in the early days, you feel like you're taking 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. Every success, there's then a loss. It's difficult in the very beginning. And it can knock you down and make you feel like, can I do this? I don't even know if I can do this. Am I able to do this? And one of the things I learned, and I learned this in the book Science of Survival, I learned the emotional tone scale. And that's basically where a person is at emotionally. And you can be completely in apathy and you hate life and you hate everybody and you have no future, and that's apathy. And you could be super enthusiastic and excited, and you can move all over this scale, anywhere from apathy all the way up to playing games even, So I knew that in order to make the proper decisions, I needed to be at the top of the tone scale. And that if I'm feeling antagonistic or I'm feeling angry, this is not a good place to make decisions or handle people from.
So true. Oh my
So how am I going to stay in enthusiasm? How am I going to, when all these things are happening and I don't have the money to pay this and this bill is due, and how do I do it? And L. Ron Hubbard wrote a poem. It's called The Joy of Creating. And I took this poem, it's very short, and I'm happy to read it here, and I pinned it up like right by my computer. And I also pinned it up in my bathroom on the mirror. And every day I would start my day by reading this reference. And I had to actually figure out how to apply this reference. And I'll give you the example, because this is Scientology. So let me read it to you.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, please.
Force yourself to smile and you'll soon stop frowning. Force yourself to laugh and you'll soon find something to laugh about. Wax enthusiastic and you'll very soon feel so. A being causes his own feelings. The greatest joy there is in life is creating. Splurge on it. That's the entire thing. I said, force yourself to smile and you'll soon stop frowning.
Yeah.
Like literally, I would have to apply this. And I am telling you, by the time I would be maybe an hour into my day, I was flying high. I was happy,
Wow.
excited, and I would do it on the bad days. I would do it on the good days. I would go, I am going to wax enthusiastic and I am going to feel it. And I did. And that was the beautiful thing. And a friend of mine worked at, I don't know if it was Hyatt. I can't remember which hotel chain she worked at, but I shared this with her. And she said, you know what's crazy? They have a policy at this hotel chain that you must be cheerful at all times. And she said people would come into work and they would be, but the policy is cheerful. So they would all get cheerful. And she said the funny thing is they became actually cheerful.
Yes.
Because
Amazing.
even though they weren't feeling it, and it was a little of those, like, you know what I'm talking about. You're like,
course,
and
yeah,
you're
yeah,
smiling, but you don't.
Yeah.
They got cheerful from doing it. So it's anybody can do it, you know. And you can say, oh, that's not Scientology. That anybody can. This is a poem I read by L. Ron Hubbard that I had to apply, knowing that Scientology is a technology that you apply in your life. You can read, and you can say, this is amazing. You could read Scientology and say, this is amazing, this is amazing, this is amazing. But if you don't apply it to your life, you're not going to have an amazing life. You're just going to have read about something that could be amazing.
So very true.
So that's my answer to what is Scientology, is taking the data and applying it to my life.
Amazing. That
So
was a
good.
brilliant.
Wow. You know, we've actually never had anyone share a reference on the podcast. I think we're going to ask for that
I think it's a
in
great
the
idea.
future. Like, that was so good.
I have more references I could share.
Yeah.
I brought so many good ones.
maybe
We're running out of
round
time.
number 2. Joy, it's been amazing having you. I appreciate you coming, taking out a time out of your day, out of your 400 employee team, to come and share with us how you got success, your stories with Scientology, and I really thank you for your time.
I'm very happy to have been here and to meet you guys and to sit and chat with you guys. You guys are really special. You really are. You're like my children's age, and I just want to smooch you, on your cheeks. Very impressive.
Excellent. Thank you, guys. See you next time.